Why do we dwell and how do we get around it? Roll it. Failure mentality is to dwell on something instead of acting on a change. We dwell instead of acting on the change because we don't like the risk involved. It brings fear to us, and because of that, we see failure. In my last video, I talked about the norms of society and how they change, and I'll link it below and up top. And for it, I wanted to bring, I touched up on that subject first because I wanted to bring that idea so we can actually see it. The examples I used were the ideas we actually see. And the question begs, why do we dwell on these changes and how do we move forward? Change occurs whether we like it or not. How we handle the change is what brings us opportunities or failures. Big multi-billion-dollar corporations spend millions upon millions to bring in professional change specialists, change management people, so they can get their companies changing. So when we look at this, we have to ask ourselves, if they're spending so much money, why are we not doing anything to improve ourselves when changes are needed instead of sitting back and fearing it? The question is not something that's easy to just, an answer. It's a little bit different for everybody, but the general acknowledgement is this risk factor, and it's dwelling not on what you're losing, but rather on the fact that you need to adapt to something else, and that's effort. Effort. You actually need to get out of your comfort zone. And because you have to get out of your comfort zone, you don't want to see this change occur. If we look at it from a perspective of being in a relationship where you need to move on from the relationship, some relationships just don't, there's an ending point to every relationship, and some relationships just need to end and people carry on a lot longer than they should. It is the fear of what's going to happen after. Where am I going to find somebody again? What is going to occur to me when this happens? They don't look at it from the opportunity that the shackles are gone. I'm not in a loveless scenario. I have the opportunity of 7 billion or whatever we're at now, and I can find happiness again. Risk is mitigated the easiest when we allow change to occur. Now, bringing up this relationship example, the reality is that if you plan out the change, your risk is limited because you're mitigating the risk. You know what you're going to be doing. If it's in a relationship that's structured nicely and they know both parties want an ending and a conclusion to the relationship to move on with their lives, it's even better. However, we don't do this, and then we're kind of just, pushed off the cliff, and you're trying to figure out how the parachute opens as you're going down, and all of a sudden life becomes very, very scary. Treating the change as an opportunity rather than something to dwell upon brings forward the winning mentality you need to move forward. To bring this to perspective, let's look at a new flaw that arises as we get older. We realize that this new flaw exists and we need to work on it. If we hang back and not work on it, well, we're dwelling on the fact that we need to work on something and we don't make appropriate changes so that flaw does not hinder our success further. As such, this causes the headache that we see with people trying to change and then not changing, dwelling on it, and seeing failure occur. Take some time and really think about the changes in life that have occurred in the past, the ones where you jumped into making that change and seeing that opportunity, seizing it and doing it, compared to the ones where you hung back and you're like, nope, don't want to change. How do the two results compare? And of course, leave that comment below so somebody can read it in the future, that people will read comments, and who knows, maybe it'll change your life.